Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May the peace, blessing, and mercy of God be upon you. Today we'll complete solving computer science paper 2, October, November 2023, variant 1. In the previous two videos, we solved questions from 1 up to 9. You can find a link in description. Today we'll solve the last question, number 10. Drama students put on a performance of play for one evening. Seats in small theaters can be booked for this performance. The theater has 10 rows and of 20 seats. So we have 10 rows from 20 seats. These 10 rows and 20 seats for each row. So the whole theater would be 200 seats. Multiply 10 by 20. The sales of the seat booking for the evening is held in the two-dimension array, Boolean array evening. So this evening will be true or false. Each element contains false if the seat is available and true if the seat is booked. Up to and include 4 seats can be booked in one time. So for each one time, we can reserve up to 4 seats, from 1 to 4. Seats are allocated in order from those available. A row of seat number cannot be requested. The array evening has already been set up and some data stored. Write a program that meets the following requirements. The first requirement counts and output the number of seats already booked for this evening. Okay, allows the user to input the number of seats required. So we'll prompt the user to input this number and then validate the input to be sure that the user just input a number from 1 to 4. Check if enough seats are available. If they are, change the status of the seat from true to be false. Output the row number and seat number. So we'll output the content of this array reserved. If they are not available, now we have 2 cases in if not available. Output a message giving the number of seats left. If there is a number of seats left, this is the first case, or house full if the theater is fully booked. You must use pseudocode or program code and add comments. This is very important to add comments in our solution to explain how your work code. You don't need to declare any arrays or variables. You may assume that they has already been done, but we can declare something we need to use in our code. You don't need to initialize the data in the array, even as he told me that some data are stored. All inputs and outputs must contain suitable messages. Okay, so we will use some variables to count the seats and the number of seats available. Okay, so first of all, we'll write comment. We'll use a meaningful name. Names to store data. We'll declare a counter. We will use this variable to count how many seats the user input. Seat counter. We will use this variable to count how many seats are booked. Requested seats to make the user available to or able to input numbers, row to define which row we need, and column to declare which column we need. Okay, all this data will be integer as a data type. Okay, we can from the question we can use a constant as a house full, which equal 200, 10 multiplied by 20. Constant, another constant, we can put maximum row as 10 row, and another constant, maximum call, which is 20. Okay, let's back to the first requirement, which to count and output the number of seats already booked for this evening. Okay, let's write a comment here. This code will count the number of seats already booked. So we have row and column. So this is two-dimensional array. We'll have nested loop for row. From 1 to maximum row, max row, and for col from 1 to maximum column, which is 10 and 20. So if evening, this is the array name of row and column equal true, sorry, equal false, the reserved seats will take false, equal false. Then the seat counter will be incremented to be seat counter +1. And if this will count the seats already booked. So here, next column, and then next row. Now we need to output this number of reserved seats. So comments output the number of seats already booked. So we'll output, write a message, number of seats booked is colon, then double quotation, comma, seat counter. Okay. Okay. Now the second request is allow user to input the number of seats required. Okay. So we'll write a comment, prompt, and allow user to input number of required seats. Okay, to prompt it, we'll write a message output how many seats you need to book, and we can out another message, please enter number from 1 to 4. Then we'll take this input as a requested seat. So input requested seats. So the third require is to validate this input. So we'll take this number in a while loop as a precondition loop, while request seats less than 1, or requested seats greater than 4, do will output a message to make the user choose number from 1 to 4. So output, please enter number between or from 1 to 4. And then we'll give the user another chance to input the requested seats again. So input requested seats and end while. This is the validation. Okay, so you can write here a comment as a validation or input validation. Okay. The last request is to check if there is enough seats. So let's write check as a command. This is a command check if enough seats are available. Here we have two cases. If there is a number of seats remain like 2 or 3, and the user need 4, so this will not be enough seats. And if the all the theater, the 200 seats are booked, so there is no seats. So for the first case, we write if seat counter plus the requested seats greater than the house full, which is 200, and the seat counter is less than 200. Then we need to output a message to determine how many seats are already available. So then output as a message only, comma, to determine 200 minus seat counter. This will give me the number of seats are available, comma, as a message is available. Else, the second case, that already all the theater is already booked. So else, if seat counter equal 200, then output as a message house full. Else we can book the number of seats which the user is input. So we need to change the status of the seats. So else we can write a comment, change the seats status. So for counter, this is what the user is required, from 1 to requested seats for each seat. We need the nested loop to move or to record or to change the array contents. So for row 1, row from 1 to 10 or to max row. For column from 1 to max column. Okay. So we need to pre-test the seat. So while seat counter less than seat counter plus requested seats and the cell in the row evening, in the array evening, row and column equal false. Then we change the evening for row and column assigned with true. And then increment the seat counter. So then seat count, first we can output this this row. So output the seat number comma this cell evening of row and column comma is booked. Okay, now we can we need to increment the seat counter. So seat counter will be incremented assigned by seat counter plus 1 and then end y. Then next column and next count, next row, and finally next count. Okay, that's the question number 10. Now we finish all the exam. You can find link in description. Thanks for watching. See you next video.